Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here, holding this little guy. What is this little guy? Well, we'll take a semi-quick closer look, and I just wanted to give my first thoughts, basically I've had this for a little over a month now. If you follow my Instagram and everything a little bit like that, you'll see that I use this a lot. And this is the Sony Cybershot RX100 version 3. So this is one of their newer ones. This bad boy is about $800. I do own this. So I just wanted to give you a quick run around of it, some of the quick major specs, why I bought it, and just show you a little bit of this little camera and why I chose to use this as my little travel guy. So I'm going to run through these specs really quickly. You can look these up. For those of you that just like the video version, I'm just going to literally run down a list and give you my thoughts and why I bought this camera. So why did I choose to go with this? Some of you might know that I actually had the Fuji X100. That was a camera I've always wanted to own, but it was a little bulkier than what I wanted. It wasn't a travel camera like this. I can easily throw into my hoodie or my jean pocket or something like that, and it travels really well. The Fuji X100, while it be fantastic image quality, it was just too bulky. It needed an external bag, I felt, unless you had some strap. But like, I walk around New York City a lot or Philadelphia, and I don't necessarily like to have my cameras out in a strap. I like to have them, more or less just at the ready. And it was just a little bigger than what I wanted. And even though I thought the fixed lens wouldn't be bad, I wanted something with a little bit more reach because I felt very restricted in that regards. Even though it was a great focal length for street photography, I wanted something more just in case, and this is what solved all of my problems and what I wanted to do. Quick specs, once again, $800, 20.1 megapixel camera, f1.4 Zeiss lens, all the way through from 24 to 70, which is one thing I really wanted. It does have a selfie screen. It's a decent little adjustable screen, but it's more vertical. It doesn't do the horizontal articulation. You get your manual modes, which is important. So your ASMP modes, I like to throw that in manual. Built-in and defilter neutral density to help with landscapes or wildlife or however you want to use this thing. It shoots in MP4, XAVC, and AVC HD, so you get a decent amount of quality there. It does shoot RAW. One huge thing that you should note about that, it has the Bion ZX image processor, which is it's the newest processor in regards to the Sony line. Uses an SD card, built-in image stabilization, and it does 10 frames a second, at its RAW capability. It does have a tripod mount. You got your histograms, you have your electronic viewfinder, and you have one of these cool electronic viewfinders that pops up here, which will actually trigger on the camera as well. It's really strong, really robust. You get a lot of information inside that little screen. If I could do a close-up later on when I dive into this, I'll show that to you. So overall, this is a very strong camera. As I said, I quickly listed everything about it. You get your 1080p video. It is in 4K, but you don't need it to be. It's a strong camera, and I was very impressed by this. Once again, I really love the weight of this and how it handles. As I said, I'll show close-up modes, but essentially there's just an on button. You turn on at the top, it'll kick it off. There you go, it extends it, and there you go, you're already live shooting. At the top, you do have your mode dials. So once again, you have your manual, shutter, aperture priority, program modes, your video modes, all that kind of stuff, panorama, so you can do your panoramic shots, and it's not that bad. As I mentioned, it does have a viewfinder, so it's got this little clip right here, and it pops up, and it's this little guy right here, and essentially, it triggers a sensor, and you can see in it, and it actually works pretty well. So I really enjoy that. So if you close it, it will shut off the camera too. So it's kind of like its own switch as well. As I did mention, this is a fully manual camera. You do have a flash here that can pop up here. I'll figure that. Boom! This little guy. Really not a lot of power, but I guess it does a little bit what you need if you wanted to. You have full control if you want to suppress the flash or however you want to control it. But I don't know if you can see here, there is a ton of options you can have in regards to what is on the screen. So it's very versatile. Your telephoto and your wide angle is at the top right here on the switch under the power button. As you can see, that's going telephoto towards 70. And it gets longer when it goes towards your 24 millimeters. As I mentioned, the screen, 3-inch articulation. You can do your selfies hey, type of thing, which I'm not fully a fan of. You actually get the full screen, which is nice because some of these cameras that are coming out now are flawed to where you'll see like, you know, half of the screen's blocked off by the way how it's made. So it's made well. And the thing that I like about this is the strip for this is actually protected well in here. So that way it works well. It's not exposed like in the Nikon D750, which is a huge flaw in regards to that. But some of the cool things, you do have focus, but you can control your aperture through a ring right here. And you have full control from 1.8 all the way up until, and it is a very long throw. We're keep going up to like F11, you know, in that range, and it works really well. It's just a very long throw. So it does shoot fast. It moves really well. It does very, very well in clean, you know, bright sources. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's like a GoPro, but it's kind of like a GoPro. If you're in lower lighting, it doesn't do as well. So I was very disappointed with that. But, you know, compared to other things, when I was looking at getting this or the Canon GX7, that only did like mainly 720 video with good frame rates. So that's why I went more or less with this route, and it was a little lighter, and I just really like the versatility of this thing, and I'm very, very impressed. But two of the drawbacks I noticed when I bought this camera, and there were easy solutions for them, some a little pricier than they should have been, is that this screen, your back screen is always exposed. So this is your you know, your viewfinder and everything back here, you know, so where you see all your menus, and it's easily exposed. So what I did, and a lot of recommendations I read up on, was I've got a, you know, a scratch-proof, you know, film for it, for the back. So there's not really much else but that. And it's also, it was a little difficult to hold because I have bigger hands. But Sony does sell an attachment grip with a really, really strong 3M, you know, solution that fixes to it that gives you actually a grip for this, and it actually fits very, very well now in my hands. As I mentioned, it even has a tripod socket at the bottom. The whole thing about street photography, you know, try to get a better angle like this, you know, have something like this, is about trying not to draw attention to yourself. And if you have a DSLR, you know, and if you just want something a little easier, you want more candid stuff without drawing a lot of attention, you know, just simply keeping this up here, you know, firing more or less, you know, at the hip, you know, set your autofocus and everything. It's a really, really strong camera to do that because of the articulation, you know, in that regards. Do I feel it ranks up there with like a Fuji or everything like that? I think they're totally different cameras. If you want more versatility, it's a great option to get that 24 to 70-ish type of length. But the Fuji, it's in its own game. It's in its own mirrorless thing. This is just a very, very strong, I'd say more or less prosumer pro point and shoot. Something easier, something to carry around. And my first really hands-on review, I really enjoy it. It's extremely easy to use. Button layout's perfect. I do wish it came with that grip, but that grip is $14. It's very, very expensive. Very disappointed at that. But, I mean, because you are paying a premium for that camera. It's not like it's like $200 or something like that. But besides the grip and, you know, the size, it's actually strong. As I said, it is very, very portable. I put it in a hoodie pocket when I was walking around, and it didn't like drag the hoodie down or something. It fit really well. So I do definitely recommend taking a look at it, and I will do a more full review and I'll actually show you the street photos that I take and everything like that in a future video. But first thoughts, I mean, doubly thumbs up to the Sony Cybershot RX100 Mark III. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this a quick thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, share for more. I do videos every single week, as you'll see from my outro card right now.